Hello and welcome. I'm here to talk about 3 things that I wish I knew when I was 20. The first one is that time invested in myself is never time wasted. I've spent so much time jumping around, following the group consensus, the group idea, whether it's to go to a party, to go to a concert, to go hang out, to change my plans, to just be tugged in all of these directions that other people want my energy for. And what I've learned is that having lots of energy and having pure energy is very magnetic for people. And this kind of causes people to really just want to be around more of it and more of it and more of it, especially if they're not necessarily working to cultivate it in themselves. I'm always someone who has recharged in solitude, and I don't necessarily recharge in company. Although I love being social, it's not what gives me more energy. So through observing this and also understanding that I do need to take breaks, whether it feels right or not, as a former people pleaser, it's very difficult to say no to things. But I've noticed in saying no that it's been a lot easier to be able to understand why I don't need to go places. And when I do go sometimes and it doesn't sit right and resonate, whether I'm not enjoying myself or I look around and I didn't necessarily need to be here, and then having later chosen to skip an event perhaps, wishing everyone that went nothing but the best, but staying home with a book or seeing family instead, or doing something for myself, by myself, take myself on a date, And seeing how those sit differently in my gut has just been really transformative. It's really helped me get to understand the difference in what we need and how we need to listen to ourselves. And I wish I knew this sooner, because I would have spent a lot less time burnt out. I would have spent a lot less time wondering what the heck I'm supposed to be doing because I'm not listening to myself. I'm just tagging along with everything. Which leads me into my second thing. My intuition may surprise me, but it will never misguide me. What I've read in books before is that your intuition, it comes from your heart space, looking out for everyone involved. Where you're thinking with your head, just looks out for yourself. And there's certain situations, whether it's pruning a relationship, whether it's platonic, romantic, whatever, whether it is leaving a job, whether it is moving out of a housing situation, that my intuition has screamed at me about. But on paper, it doesn't seem like it's the right time, or it seems too disruptive or disrespectful or something along those lines. And no matter how long I've stuck around a situation in hopes that my intuition was wrong, it's never been wrong. You can do whatever you gotta do to think you're gonna extend something, but that doesn't mean it's gonna stick around. The person, the job, the anything. And just learning that what my gut is telling me is looking out for everything has allowed me to have a lot more peace and a lot more confidence and safety in choosing from that space instead. The last thing that I wish I knew sooner was that my uniqueness is my superpower. I've spent many years feeling like a black sheep, even though I've spent lots of time on teams and in group housing and big chunks of people and getting along just fine. I haven't necessarily always felt like I belonged. I've had people I can relate to, but that doesn't necessarily mean I feel similar to them. And that felt really isolating for a while, just kind of trying to figure out what I'm doing here, why I am like this, And as I've started to kind of step into my power with that, I've learned that being adaptable and being unique is really empowering. And we're all very different, and a lot of people just kind of try to look the same. And once I started to notice this as well, I realized the more unique in me I can be, the more I can empower others to do the same thing. Whether it's getting into that hobby that you're afraid to be terrible at or think you'll get judged for, or wearing the clothes or getting the haircut, or whatever it may be that make you feel like what lights you up isn't of value. It's been really interesting to be able to just step up and step into being like, hey, it's me. And seeing other people want to do the same for themselves. And there's always a lot of fear. You don't want to let people down and people's perceptions of you. But the people that are meant for you are always going to stick around. They're going to adapt with you, grow with you, and support you no matter what. And I've been learning this over time on my own journey of continuing to follow every rabbit hole that speaks to my soul and live in every state that I feel so called to. Having so many random odds and ends jobs. They've all brought so much richness to my life. They've all brought so many people to my life. And with those people come different experiences, backgrounds, perspectives, things I would never trade for the world. And my favorite part has been taking my favorite bits of everyone I love and integrating them into my best self. And that's when I realized that's what makes me so weird, is by bopping around all the time, loving all these people, I'm becoming a little bit like all of them, which is just me. So, if you can take anything away from this, just know that you are your biggest priority. You matter more than you give yourself credit for. And no matter what, you are exactly who you're meant to be, where you're meant to be, doing exactly what you're meant to be doing. Thank you so much, and see you in the next one.